Hello, everyone. This is Marta Sanchez Cócera.
And this is Clara Cantas Delgado.
And today we're going to present on the use of Wooclap as an interactive tool in the context of EMI and EFL classes. And this is part of a teaching innovation project on UCM called Innova 46, Wooclap o Bebox, el uso de plataformas interactivas para promover la interacción y la participación del estudiantado. So, these are the contents. We're going to introduce the tool, and then we're going to go over some activities and ideas to use Wooclap in this new context, and we're going to go over students' assessments of Wooclap. So let's introduce this tool. According to its website, it's a host of tools brought together in one space to develop educational interactivity. So this is basically an interactive online platform that allows the user to create multiple types of questions and polls, and it integrates with digital tools like LMS, PowerPoint, or Microsoft Teams. And with Wooclap, participants may answer the questions either anonymously or not, but they can use their own electronic devices, smartphones, tablets, etc., to answer the questions, which is very interesting because it allows them to break with the dynamics of the class and stop for this little interactive activity. So it is a very hands-on activity. It is learning and doing at the same time. And let me show you some of the question types that Wooclap offers. There's 20 of them, 20 functionalities, some more traditional like matching or fill in the gaps. But then we're going to see how we can use some others like find an image or sorting. So let's get started with Wooclap application in the EMI classroom. We're going to move beyond matching questions and fill in the gaps, and we're going to take these ideas from a course in discourse analysis in English. So the first one is the find an image function, which you can use either by inserting a normal image or by inserting an image with text in it, which is very useful for subjects like this one that I teach, discourse analysis, because that's basically what we do, analyzing discourse. So here we have, for instance, this exercise which says mark the elements that you think hint at the subjectivity of the speaker in the sentence, and students can kind of select which words or which part of the image they want to tag to select the subjectivity element. So in the upper left corner, we have the results, so what they pointed at. So I honestly believe, and then you can also provide a right answer, which appears with both their answers and the correct answers in this green square. And you can compare both results. Another interesting functionality is the sorting one, in which you can, in which students can grade elements in a scale. And in this case, for instance, we have sort the following statements in terms of their degree of commitment from a higher degree to a lower degree. And this is how their results would be displayed. We have the most frequent combinations that they did, and you can also provide a correct combination. And then we have the brainstorming function, which is usually used to, gather some ideas in class, but I use this function to classify things. So unfortunately, Wooclap doesn't have a function that allows you to classify things into boxes, into categories. So this is what I use. I give them a prompt. For instance, this one says, classify the following model expressions into the following categories. And I give them a set of expressions in this case, or a set of elements, which they classify into the boxes you provide them with. So you didn't see the categories before, but they see the categories at all times, and they can classify the elements into these categories. The only thing about this function, if you use it like this, you cannot provide correct answers because it is not thought of to do such things, But either way, you can correct them in class, and that's it.
Now, Regarding the English foreign language, well, Marta said that we were going beyond matching and filling the gaps, but we're going back because this is more of the classicals, the classic tools that you can use, and that is very useful for English teaching. So, as I said, these are some examples of how matching and filling blanks can be used. What I like the most about this is that it allows you to insert images, which can be very useful for more visual language, for more visual learners. Sorry, and also since, as Marta said, this is a hands-on kind of activity, this is also very useful for more tactile learners. What another of the advantages of these of the utilization of Wooclap is that it not only provides individual feedback to the students since they submit their own answer and then they see if they got it right or wrong, but that it's very useful for the teacher because him or her can track what is the most frequent response provided by the students. So regardless of whether it's right or wrong, they know where their students make mistakes more often or what knowledge they have already acquired, so it doesn't need any more stressing in the classroom. So another of the tools that I like to use a lot is rating, because rating allows you to allow students to determine whether they like in a scale from 1 to whatever something or not, or whether they agree or not with a question. In this regard, for instance, the question was if this type of behavior was ethically okay. So I like this tool because it can be quite hard for the shyest students to participate and raise their hand and give their opinion in the classroom. So by doing this, they can contribute, and then a debate may emerge from the results. So you can just ask the students to talk about things later, and then in this way, also if they feel like whatever they were going to say, other students say it as well, then they may be more comfortable just speaking out loud and arguing why they think this way. This is similar to the utilization of word clouds and open questions. Well, in this regard, what I like the most about this is that it allows students to use the language in the classroom. And again, like you can find it in word clouds. You just ask a question and people provide 1 or 2 words, and then they become bigger and bigger if more people, if more students use them, and smaller if it's just 1 or 2. What I like about this is that it's very visual, and then it changes like as people keep adding new words, it keeps changing, the cloud does. And also again, it's a good way of sparking like an interest, and also just starting a debate afterwards. And finally, when you have the open question is again very useful because it allows students to write, so to practice writing in the classroom, which is something that is not very easily managed otherwise. And it shows each other whatever they write. So I think that's very useful because it allows them to learn from each other, and it allows them to vote. So if they like something, they can just click like. If you, it's a button that you can make accessible or not in your presentation. But I quite like that because that gives positive feedback, and it's all anonymous as well. So I think it's a nice way of encouraging kind of like peer correction, but also like peer motivation. And well, now that we're going to focus on some of the opinions that our students had on the use of Wooclap in the classroom.
Yeah. So in the EMI classroom, in general, we see that students found that Wooclap is a user-friendly platform, that it is useful, and they generally like it. And also they really like that it is anonymous. I used it like that. I was interested rather in them participating rather than tracking their results. So they really like that aspect because they felt more comfortable answering the questions and not feeling pressured, feeling assessed. And they thought that we used Wooclap appropriately. Then regarding possible issues, the most important issue here would be that they sometimes have problems connecting when they have a bad internet connection, and sometimes they find that it's a little bit difficult to send their answers, although generally they don't seem to have many problems when using Wooclap, basically just connecting sometimes. And regarding learning objectives, they in general think that it has improved and facilitated their participation in class. They think that using Wooclap in class is really nice because it makes classes more enjoyable. They think that they contribute to a better understanding of some concepts in class, especially in content classes. This is very important, and especially when we're using English as a medium of instruction, right? And in general, it makes them pay more attention in class, and it helps them remember what they have studied. So some of them think that we made a little bit of excessive use of it, but I think it's okay. And now some of the students' comments, they really think that it is a different way of reinforcing concepts. It is really nice. It makes classes more fun and dynamic. They pay more attention when we use Wooclap. It is fun. And they really value that we use new ways of teaching, not just talking and talking, as the last comment says, but implemented this kind of tools that break with the normal monotonous dynamics of the class.
And finally, regarding the opinions of English as foreign language students, well, the results are really very similar. I have to say, I think the only there are very slight differences in here. For instance, there is a slight more percentage of people who didn't think it was very user-friendly. This can also be because these are students from the degree of Spanish and classical philology, and in this case, there's more. I think, well, the age, the average age is a little bit higher. So older people may have a little bit more trouble, especially with like scanning the QR and so on. However, in general, people enjoyed the utilization of the tool. In terms of possible issues, well, we have again some connection problems, which makes sense, as well as Marta reported, because well, we're in the same university, so the classrooms are the same and the Wi-Fi is the same. But in general, again, even though some people thought we overused the tool a little bit in the class, in general, people thought it was okay. And finally, regarding the learning objectives, these were met in general, even though sometimes students didn't feel like they were learning so much while using this app. This was mostly because generally they feel like they're learning when they're, I don't know, learning grammar or vocabulary, but when they are writing, for instance, they don't feel like they're learning. And we used the open questions a lot. That was one of the things that we used most. And also, of course, because they sometimes prefer other more engaging tools such as Kahoot, and they feel like they're learning more that way because they're competing with each other. So these are some of the remarks that they provided. So again, as we have said, shy people said that the tool was useful for them because they could participate. Some people complained about how it sometimes took a little bit of time to get everybody on the platform. That's true, but it's especially true for the first sessions. Then students just get how it works, and it doesn't take that much time. And in general, as Marta said, just very positive remarks on Wooclap. So that's it. That's everything. Thank you very much for your attention. Here is a QR that you can scan, and you can fill in a little offline survey, which is something that you can also do in Wooclap. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much.